Okay, this is a very quick update video. We're looking at the position at the end of the German movement phase of the night turn, June the 8th. One thing that there was a mistake I'd made, which I picked up when I was doing the replacements for the night turn earlier, that you're supposed to clear your replacement tracks, these, at the end of your replacement step. You can't leave them. Now, what I did, because I was conserving a lot of them, thinking ahead, I just emptied them all for the at the start of the, at the end of this replacement phase. So I've just corrected that. Both sides are doing the same thing, so no great hassle there. The weather today isn't good. It's foggy, which is reducing the amount of naval stuff I can use. I can't use these destroyers here because they're not allowed to fire in the fog, but your battleships, your cruisers, your heavy cruisers and light cruisers can actually still fire. The bad weather has massively reduced the Allies' air force. It's reduced the amount of supplies, combat supply that I've brought in. It's reduced the ground air points I've got available and the armed recon attacks I can do. So that's not great, but it could be worse. In terms of reinforcements, again, Allies are getting a steady stream of reinforcements, but particularly at Omaha and Utah, they're struggling to get these ashore because there's quite a big backlog building up of units that aren't even in the landing queues yet. I can't land them at British beaches. Well, I think I could. I'm sure there's an optional rule I could land at British beaches, but to be honest, the Gold's is fully sort of it's full. You wouldn't want to put them on Sword and Juno. That would be pointless. In terms of the Germans, you can see that their command net has formed up now. There's quite a lot of core units in position, these white ones. There's a core there. There's another one formed up there. There's one there. Another one coming on there. So there's actually 4 German core on the board, which is really helpful now. There's very few German units that are unable to establish supply, which is that they're going to need it. In terms of the divisions on the board, it's roughly neck and neck, and if you've played this campaign before, you'll find that surprisingly it remains that way. The big problem the Germans have is the fact that they can't replace the losses. The Allies will be taking losses, but they'll be replacing them all the time. So by the end of the Normandy campaign, the Allied units are pretty much full strength or partially damaged, whereas the German units are absolutely wrecked or annihilated. So they're going to get bled to death unless they can make some sort of impact on the Allies. Now, situation sort of west of the Orne is deteriorating quite rapidly for the 6th Airborne, which is really, it's not a powerful unit and it's fairly well dispersed. People have noted there was a bit of a gap where the 6th weren't getting opposed, but the Germans are perfectly capable of filling that in. They've left some 12 SS units as a flank guard there. We've got this flak Corps, which is a good set of artillery units coming in. Theoretically, they could move some of these 346 units up here to close that gap. So there isn't really much option for the Allies across the Orne. They're really there to guard the flank and make sure nobody crosses Pegasus Bridge, which is here. Now, 21st Panzer is a good unit, but it's getting pinned down, and it's not surprising. That has to act as the shield for Caen. You've got the Panzer Lehr, which is desperately trying to get to Bayonne, and the 12th SS will follow them as well. You've got the 30th Division here, which is trying to get to Bayonne. We'll get there fairly soon. So it looks like the Germans might be able to beat the Allies to Bayonne. You've got the 352nd, which is still holding its ground near Omar Beach, but it has used all its field replacements now, so it's going to start getting heavily damaged by attrition. On the Khotan Peninsula, there's like Omaha's like forming up, and there's quite a lot of German divisions now in this area. You've got the 709th here, you've got the 243rd, the 91st. There's another division, infantry division coming in there, and there's another one arriving down there. But over here you've got a powerful Panzer unit, the 17th SS, which is split in two at the moment. There's a bit near Sanlo, and then there's the rest of it coming in there. So it's really a case of how much ground the Allies are able to take before Germans form a perimeter around them, and whether that German perimeter is going to be strong enough to actually make a major offensive against the bridgehead. I would be looking at attacking right here, in the gap between the two armies. You've basically got possibly the 12th SS, the Panzer Lehr, and the 17th SS all arriving around Bayeux, possibly being able to do some damage there. It's hard to say there. The situation is still pretty fluid.